Hey guys, my name's Plev, and welcome to this DCS F-4E tutorial. Today, we're not only going to be covering how to manage your fuel, but also how the internal systems work. It's going to be a rather short video, but I hope it helps some of you to get your aircraft back home safely. Located above your two engine RPM gauges are your two fuel flow gauges and your fuel totalizer. It's important to note that your fuel totalizer will only show internal fuel and not fuel carried in your external tanks. With fuel flowing from the external tanks, the fuel totalizer should either be counting up or at least not counting down. According to the manual, anytime an external fuel tank is detected to not be flowing fuel into the fuselage, a respective light will illuminate on the telelight panel, with left external fuel, center external fuel, or right external fuel being indicated. These lights will only illuminate for the respective external transfer. That is, if outboard is selected, center external fuel cannot illuminate, and vice versa. Because transfer can occur intermittently due to flow from the tanks exceeding engine fuel consumption, the warning lamp is not immediately indicative of an empty external tank and should be checked against the quantity indication system. Coming down to the left, we have our fuel system panel. On our fuel system panel, we have our fuel dump switch on the left, our internal wing transfer switch, we have our external fuel transfer switch, we have our air refueling switch, and we have our boost pump switches. To source fuel from our external tanks, we can use our external transfer switch. This 3-position switch can either be set to off to depressurize all external fuel tanks, center to pressurize the center fuel tank, or outboard to pressurize the outboard fuel tanks. It's important that you do not pressurize the center fuel tank prior to takeoff, as if there are any fuel leaks, this can cause an explosion or fire. We also have our refuel selection switch, which provides options for the two modes of refueling: internal fuselage and internal wing tanks only, or all tanks to include external tanks. In case of emergency, you can use this switch, the internal wing tanks feed, to disable fuel transfer from the wings to the fuselage. In order to jettison your fuel tanks, set your jettison selector to the 6 o'clock or the stores position and select the pylons which are holding your tanks. In this case, the outboard pylons. Go ahead and depress the jettison button. On the top left of the canopy, we have the ready light. This will illuminate when the aircraft is ready to receive the boom from a tanker and will extinguish when the aircraft has received the boom. On the front control stick is the air refueling release button. Its primary purpose is to release the receptacle from the boom in the event of a manual refueling cycle. That is one in which the boom operator cannot force a disconnect remotely, or perform a disengagement on demand based on flight conditions or an emergency situation. Pressing the button will disengage the boom and illuminate the disengaged lamp. Superimposed on your screen is a map of the F-4E's fuel system. Referencing the manual, the aircraft has 9 internal fuel tanks, with 7 down the fuselage of the aircraft and 2 in the wings. Fuel from the wing and external tanks are performed by bleed air pressurization once airborne. Internal wing tank fuel is transferred into fuselage cells 1 and 3, whereas fuel from external tanks are balanced between cells 1, 3, and 5. Internal wing and external tanks will not transfer when not pressurized. This is the case with either the gear out or the air-to-air refueling door open. When the aircraft reaches a low fuel state, automatic fuel transfer activates, forcing valves from the internal wing and external tanks open, regardless of what has been selected on the panel. Automatic fuel transfer, once activated, can only be deactivated by cycling the air refueling switch. This is important as most switches on the fuel system panel are ignored when activated. An indication of automatic transfer being active are all 3 fuel tank lights being lit regardless of their actual status. And that just about covers it for today. Happy flying and happy hunting.